From WNDU, your breaking news and weather authority, this is 16 Morning News.
Did you know this week is National Feeding Tube Awareness Week? There's a lot of people that don't know what a feeding tube is all about, but nearly 1 million children and adults in the U.S. rely on a feeding tube. Coming up, we're going to talk to a local couple who's created a line of foods that are both natural and nutritious. Stay with us. Well, as you eat your breakfast this morning, I'd like for you to take a moment to just think of people who can't eat with a fork or a spoon. Nearly 1 million children and adults in the U.S. rely on a feeding tube. And a local couple has developed a line of foods that are natural and nutritious. Julie and Tony Bombacino. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
Welcome to both of you,
Thank
Julie
you.
and Tony. You're
Thank
from
you.
Chesterton. Thank you for making the drive
Yep.
here to South Bend. This week is Feeding Tube Awareness Week, and it's something that's not on a lot of people's radar.
Yeah.
We're going to change that this morning because it's so important. This is a life and death matter, isn't it?
Yes.
Tell me why it's so important to your family, Julie.
Yeah, our son has been on a feeding tube for about 4.5 years now, and we didn't have any idea what a feeding tube was when this happened. When he was placed onto a feeding tube, we were very clueless about everything, you know, how and why and how it worked, and we felt very alone. And so there's an organization called Feeding Tube Awareness that is really amazing. It's a nonprofit, and they're out there to, you know, help people like us, parents of tube-fed children, but also adults on feeding tubes, not feel so alone and have a place to talk about it and build awareness about living in life with a feeding tube.
Tony, if you could hold up the feeding tube. It's a simple apparatus that is used.
Yep.
But this is, as we've mentioned, life and death for some people. Your son can't swallow food because it could go directly into his lungs otherwise.
Yep.
Tell me what you do.
Yeah, it's as simple as taking our food. So we open one of our meals here. Yeah, we have a little beer, we have a prop, and this is one of our meals. And so you take the food up there, and then you connect the feeding tube right into there, right? And then you simply take the food and push it in there and feed, just like that. It's literally just that simple.
And you notice, though, when you were using other foods, and there's plenty of foods out there that can be used. A lot of people make their own even, but you noticed it wasn't working for your son. He had other issues that needed to be addressed through nutrition.
Yeah, he was just one of those kids that was really intolerant of commercial formulas, and comes to find out that that's not unusual. That a lot of people, you know, we've been digesting 100% real food for, you know, thousands of years when you look at it from a big picture standpoint. And he did really well on real food. He stopped throwing up every day, and he pooped on his own, which those are two big things in a life of a 1-year-old.
And we're looking at some pictures now. Your son is absolutely adorable, and his development has come along so incredible since switching things over. But you came up with your own food line, and this is called Real Food. Tony, this must have been so exciting for you.
Yeah, my wife here, Julie, is really the champion of this, and thinking about when our son wasn't doing so well in commercial formulas, there has to be a better way, right? And she spent 3 years doing research and development, figuring out what would be the best way to feed our son. And maybe you can touch on that even more.
Yeah, you know, it's really just common sense, putting real food into real stomachs. But unfortunately, it's a lot of work when you have somebody on a feeding tube. And so that's where Real Food Blends comes in. Like, it's 100% real food, already made, ready to go in the feeding tube, no work required. And it is also covered by most insurance plans, which is a big deal.
Oh, that has got to be huge for families, because it's already something that they've had to endure with medical costs with their child, or even an adult. Or think of the adults that, because of stroke, injury, accident, they get placed on feeding tubes. And their life and their quality of life can be greatly improved through nutrition. So it's something to consider. Julie, Tony, what an inspirational story. And you're from right here in Indiana. Thank you for taking the time to be on our morning show this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Give our best to the kids, okay?
We will, thank you.
They have an older daughter, 7 years old. She's got to be loving the fact that Mom and Dad's on TV.
She does.
Okay, we'll enjoy and give our best to your family.
Great, thank you.